We are so thrilled to be back here at Point of Honor 40 years after our first work was completed. I want to recognize the 3,500 members of the Garden Club of Virginia who work each year in their communities to produce magnificent tours for Historic Garden Week. It is their work that makes this event possible. So to all of you who are members here today, and to all of our members across the Commonwealth, I salute you. I also want to thank the very hard-working members of the Restoration Committee. It is my pleasure now to introduce the chairman of this committee, Ann Baldwin.
Good afternoon. As chairman of the Restoration Committee, I am proud and honored to be here. Today's dedication is a culmination of a 40-year collaboration between the Garden Club of Virginia and Point of Honor. During this time, the liaisons from the Restoration Committee to Point of Honor have included Kay Van Allen, Catherine Madden, and Mina Wood. I am delighted that both Catherine and Mina are here today, and I want to add that Mina is also a past president of the Garden Club of Virginia. Our current liaison is Betsy Worthington, who has done a wonderful job of organizing today's special event for us. Our special thanks to her, as well as Diane Spence and Barbara Luton from our committee. The Restoration Committee does not act alone. As Jean pointed out, this is a team effort of the 3,500 members of the Garden Club who work hard each year on our Historic Garden Week to raise the funds that we are using on this garden. We have two wonderful clubs here in Lynchburg, the Garden Club of Lynchburg and the Hillside Garden Club. And I'm so happy that members of both have joined us today. We're grateful for the help of the Garden Club of Lynchburg with our reception today. I also want to thank Ted Delaney, the director of the Lynchburg Museum System, who is our contact here and has welcomed us so warmly. We are delighted that Charlotte Fisher, the president of the Point of Honor, Inc., others from the city, as well as the museum board, staff, and volunteers are also here today. We are proud of our contributions to this important historic site through the decades. Working with landscape architect Meade Palmer, our first effort involved creating the appropriate front entrance and providing a parking area that remains hidden from view. Next, with the help of landscape architect Rudy Favretti, we worked to create a reception terrace that's right here for the visitor center. Today, it is my privilege to introduce William D. Riley, who has been serving the Garden Club of Virginia as our landscape architect for over 21 years. His first project here at Point of Honor in 2006 added the stone steps from the visitor center up to the house. For those of you who do not know Will, he is the founding principal of Riley and Associates, and they're located in Charlottesville, Virginia. He served 8 years on the Albemarle County Planning Commission, and he also taught at the University of Virginia for 20 years. We value his teaching experience and find it so helpful as he guides the Garden Club of Virginia's two fellows who are graduate students in landscape architecture and come in the summer to do research at historic properties. So I am delighted to introduce Will and let him tell you about his work on this new garden. Will.
Thanks, Ann. Standing here today at this dignified and beautiful house, it's hard to call to mind the appearance of the grounds when the Lynchburg Historical Association began the restoration work. There's a wonderful old photograph that reminds us that when the work started 50 years ago, the fabulous front porch was missing. and a chain link fence surrounded the house, and a weedy bed of broken concrete slabs. Today, the house and its grounds reflect the tender, loving care lavished on it over the years. It's a high point and a highlight in the city of Lynchburg. As Mina Wood can attest, the Garden Club of Virginia has been a partner with the city for most of that process. As Ann said, I'm the third landscape architect that the Garden Club of Virginia has asked to work on the property. The first, Meade Palmer, is responsible for the greatest transformation, including the pattern of the walk, which I always found fascinating, that the rough stones are in the middle where the horse would walk, and the smooth stones on the outside where the wagon wheels or the carriage wheels would ride. Meade is responsible for the lovely entrance gate and the drive. Lee Cochran was the chair of the restoration committee during those years, enormously important part of the Garden Club of Virginia's history. Meade also had the ingenious idea, also as Ann said, of tucking the visitor parking into the hillside so that cars are not visible from the historic scene. Rudy Favretti helped the Garden Club when it undertook the design of this terrace, as we can see, a really useful and attractive addition. Our contribution, in addition to the stone steps behind you, the Garden Club commissioned in connection with this level to the visitor center, and to create a new space on the north lawn. It'll serve as an event space, but also offer the opportunity to sit on the bench for a quiet break, enjoying the breeze or a book. Now, the silhouette sweet gums very vertically define the boundary, and like the octagon bays of the house, the columnar trees echo an important motif of the Federal and early 19th century. The edging on the outside of the liriope beds contains the plants, but also creates a mowing edge for ease of maintenance. The Garden Club's goal was to create a simple, elegant setting that also served as a foreground for this view of the house. Point of Honor now offers a welcoming face to its backdoor neighbors. We were lucky to work with RSG Landscaping here in Lynchburg for the construction. They not only did the brickwork, but the planting as well. We were very fortunate to work with Chairman Diane Spence and Ann Baldwin, and liaisons Kay Van Allen, Catherine Madden, and Betsy Worthington, and with the City Museum Director, Ted Delaney, and Charlotte Fisher, the President of Point of Honor. Thank you all very much. I'm looking forward to stopping here from time to time when I visit Lynchburg, as I'm sure Ann Baldwin, current chairman of the Restoration Committee, is. And I'll now turn over the proceedings to her, as she has the happy task of presenting the project to the Lynchburg Museum System on behalf of the Garden Club of Virginia. Great.
This is a happy responsibility. Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Delaney, it gives me great pleasure to present this garden to Point of Honor, Inc. and to the City of Lynchburg Museum System, a gift from the members of the Garden Club of Virginia. We hope it will serve you well as the site of many happy events. Thank you.
And thank you so much. On behalf of the City of Lynchburg, our Mayor, Trinae Tweedy, City Manager, Bonnie Zverchek, and all of the staff of the Lynchburg Museum System, thank you so much. I gratefully accept this beautiful new north lawn. Our Mayor and City Manager could not be here today and asked me to send their regrets. And I don't believe we have any council members with us today. Okay. I do want to recognize our department directors that are here. We have Margette Glass to my right. Margette is with the Office of Economic Development and Tourism, and that is the city department that oversees the museums, including Point of Honor. All of us appreciate so much the public-private partnership that we have here at Point of Honor. This property is a perfect example of how we greatly multiply our impact when we work together to improve public spaces. Thank you, Will, for giving us such a dramatic improvement to this part of the grounds here at Point of Honor. Your design is simple and elegant, historically accurate, and provides exactly the structure that space needed. Personally, I love the new views that we have from each room of the house. I want to thank all of the 47 member garden clubs of the Garden Club of Virginia, whose members work so hard all year long to organize and run Historic Garden Week. As Ann mentioned, proceeds from Garden Week fund restoration and renovation projects like this one here at Point of Honor. And I want you to know how much Lynchburg appreciates your work many months ago and often in places very far from here. Finally, I want to recognize Betsy Worthington, there's Betsy right here, member of the Lynchburg Garden Club and our representative on the Garden Club of Virginia's Restoration Committee. Betsy led the informal committee that organized our event today, and she coordinated many complex moving parts with calm and grace. Thank you so much, Betsy. Thank you all. Yes, thank you, Betsy. Thank you all for being here today and for sharing with us this very special moment. I'm going to call up our board chair, the museum board chair, as well as the Point of Honor board chair, Charlotte Fisher.
Thank you, Ted. Again, thank you to all of you all who helped make this day possible for all of us. To Will, for all the many hours and anguish that we put you through, thank you. Betsy, Catherine, all of you all. And Jean, thank you so much, and you, Ann. I know full well it's taken many, many years for those who first started working on this project a long time ago. Mina certainly is one of those who's been with us almost from the beginning, and she did a lot of the fundraising to help this building right here. As you probably know, it is very difficult for a beautiful house just to remain viable as a beautiful house. For a number of years, Lynchburg Museum System has had a working program with all the schools in this area to bring students here on a regular basis, also to the Courthouse Museum downtown, sometimes as many as 100 children at a time. They come by the busloads. Our goal is to share the history of the area and of the times. For Point of Honor, that period of time is 1815, when the house was built, through 1830, which is known as the era of good feelings. We share it with students to enable them to have a better understanding of their own roots and to help them become enthusiastic about learning and encountering history. We're working with programs to reach into every part of the community, not just the schools. We have several problems in being able to reach as many people as we'd like to. Here at Point of Honor, there is nothing that's handicapped accessible. Those of you who came up the steps know that. There are only 2 bathrooms. And when you have 100 school children, you can imagine what that's like. Several years ago, the Board of Advisors realized we needed to expand the carriage house and to set about trying to make that happen. You will see a very general idea of the space where the new building will be, back there with all of those flags. Where the walkway is to be is a little bit more this way, and Will has given his approval to where it will be so it doesn't mess up his walkway. There are plans here and inside that we'd like for you all to take a look at. If you have questions about it, do let me know. Yes, we have gotten all of the necessary permissions from all of the historic boards and groups, locally and over the state. And we've had an archaeological dig done to make sure we're not messing up anything. So we're planning, when we have the money available, to build the new building right out there. The new building will make a perfect place for garden clubs and other groups to meet. And for those of you who've met in here, you know how cramped it can be. During an ice cream social here on the lawn, we call it the paddock area, since that's supposedly was a stable area. We had an ice cream social for the neighborhood 2 years ago. And we were talking about what the garden would look like and about the new building. And one of the young women from this neighborhood said, "Oh, a perfect place to have a wedding." I said, "I'd like to have my wedding and my reception right there." Good things can happen. Thank you for making the new garden a reality. If you'd like to have a tour of the house, our staff will be glad to take you through, probably in smaller groups, but in the meantime, we have a reception inside, and we'd like for you to join us and to come back and visit and watch this garden as it grows. Thank you again for helping us so very, very much.